Yep, I have no choice but to confess it. You are, in fact, massive. Yep, and there it is. Halifax versus Atletico Ottawa. This is Wanderlust, and over here,
It's Eddie Benhin.
yep,
Capital for Atletico Ottawa, Capital City Sports Group, and like you said, we're massive.
yep, and yep, Halifax again at home. Halifax 1, Atletico Ottawa 2. So, yeah, sorry, and Tiso and Bahu are going to be very proud of what they've done today. Salter was all right too. I mean, he scored an open play goal. Like that's a friggin' unicorn to us.
It was a goal, but it's at least.
Uh, Now, how do I respectfully and appropriately describe our scoring situation? Oh, I know. If we were to kick it into the event horizon of a black hole, it'd spit the friggin' thing right out.
I mean, that's a pretty description for facts. And it's kind of shocking that you guys have worse goal scoring form than us because our goal scoring form is almost non-existent as well.
Yours, I believe the appropriate phrase is but used by other people, not myself. Terrorism football.
Oh, I love that phrase. I'm always using that. It's absolutely peak terrorist football.
You have no XG, and yet you've managed to get leads with no XG. We managed to have nothing except for spot kicks with like 300 XG. We're the perfect foil to each other.
Peak football. It annoys everyone, especially Cavalry fans, because that's when it really comes out against them. Be happy you only lost 2-1, because it could be a lot worse.
Yeah. You got your revenge for the. Well, actually, no. Even last year, it was your guy Matthew Arnone, formerly ours, that kicked us out of the playoffs last year, and you're still like. And look at you guys still going. I mean,
you still.
You know what's great? Cargo. Carlos Gonzalez. That guy has helped you out in a massive, yes, literally massive way.
It's been season defining. Definitely.
I mean, he took you guys from the basement, way in the basement, to, I think you may have, I haven't checked the standings yet, but you may have locked first place.
Not yet. If Pacific and Forge said need to lock up first place, or right there on the doorstep.
Okay. Serious question though. All right, is this the year where clinching first place earned you a spot into whatever replaces Conca League?
No, so it's next year.
Okay,
but the CPL did announce some new trophy for finishing first, so it will count this year as well.
Sound for you guys. All right. So tell us about how things. Well, I'll tell you about how things went from our end. Well, we were trying our best to deal with your counterattack football, and we held on for a little while. I mean, our lineup. You were probably laughing yourself silly when you saw our lineup, but I mean, I think there was a different thing going on with that, like on your end. I mean, like on our end, it was something about getting some people who probably won't be Wanderers next year a run out. And I think that's why it's going on, like as some sort of. And I like the gesture, even if I don't like what I'm pretty sure it led to.
Yeah, no, I definitely saw some commentary on that. Some of those players were playing questions, should they really be playing? But I'm in agreement that kind of ended on a high note. Your season's already done. These players have one to run in front of the fans and have a nice session. That's the vibe that Halifax was kind of going at. And hey, and the thing is, Halifax knew that Ottawa had to play the U21 minutes.
Right,
So
right.
you guys are kind of hoping that you can take advantage of that, even with the softer lineup.
Well, we almost did.
You almost pulled off the draw. If it wasn't for Nathan Ingram, the best goalkeeper in the league, you could have had the draw
And
or
all,
maybe 3 points.
and all this time I thought it was Carducci.
No, we've been telling you it's Nathan Ingram. We're
I know. Yes, it
sweeping
is
the
Nathan
awards.
Ingram.
Massive.
It is Nathan Ingram, but Carducci is a close second.
100%. She's in the running. Honestly, I don't know who picks the awards, but Nathan Ingram, for me at least, has been proving it lately that he should be the one that wins it.
And I'm not going to assume that you're just saying it of an inherent bias for your club. I mean, I support the Halifax Wanderers, and I like Bassett, but I don't think he's in that conversation. But as for Oxner, I like the guy. He's a sound fella. He's obviously a very nice guy, and he loves the club. I'm a very nice guy. I love the club. I shouldn't be in nets for the Wanderers either.
Yeah, and it's disappointing Oxner, but you definitely need to move on. Like he's a nice guy. I know a lot of people who know him. He's a great guy, but his level is just not where it needs to be for your team in the CPL.
The level of the Oxner is not very high. That said, I really do hope that he lands on his feet. He absolutely has a place in Canadian soccer, just not in the Wanderers.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I do seem to have their starter keepers on their lock, but I think Oxner just needs to develop more. So maybe taking a stint down in League One Ontario or PLSQ, and then hopefully getting some more confidence and heading back into the CPL.
We'll see what happens in the off. That I'm pretty sure that's been considered.
Definitely.
But anyhow, yeah, and Peter Shala, the captain. Peter Shala is another guy in that category. He's a very good guy. I would love to have gotten to know. I would really love to know the guy, and he definitely again has a place in either Canadian soccer or maybe even back home in the Rhineland. But I'd prefer him landing on his feet there to continuing to be center back for the Wanderers. He has the head for it. He has the footballing brain. He just doesn't have the legs. And he deserves an exit that is dignified and that will play to his strengths and ours.
Yeah, and I honestly do feel like the result for Halifax, even though it was a loss, it wasn't an embarrassing loss. It wasn't something that lacks self-respect. You guys tried to the end. We fought and that's all you can ask. And I think I saw the crowd. I was there. I saw the crowd at the end of the game. There was no really hard feelings. Players got to have a nice send-off and talk to the fans. It's honestly a nice...
The season was...
Closing end of the season, yeah.
The season was hecked anyway. It's not this game that irritates me. It's most of the previous ones.
Yep.
It's the 0-4 to Forge. It's the 0-3 to Forge. It's the 0-2 game at home. Halifax Ottawa 1, HFXATO2 where the last 25 minutes were painful. That was when Salter got sent off, and then the floodgates opened. Well, no, okay, not floodgates, and then you got the chance you were fighting for 65 minutes prior.
Definitely. There's when you look back on the season in the offseason, you're going to see there's a lot of results that were defined the season. I remember with Atletico Ottawa last season during the offseason, I went by and checked our results, and a lot of games we were losing were by one goal, or we let an equalizer in the last minute, and I'm like, wow, if we just held on, we could be somewhere else in the standings. And it sucks to look at, but honestly, the way I can say it is, in games that you were really close in, but you lost, that's areas for improvement where onto that, flying up the standings.
All right, and I'll tell you what else. To be fair to the likes of, to be fair to Shala and to be fair to the back line, they did do well for the most part until one thing that irritated me was Lamoth, who he's had his good games and he's had his bad games. And this time, Lamoth gave up the free kick and this is one thing I could definitely hold against us. We've given away too many free kicks, not just here, but throughout the season, in areas that scare me. and they're just outside the box. Do we get desperate when we get that far? Is that what happens? It could be. I mean, but either and the improvement in the back line hasn't fully prevented that yet, although I expect it to. And then Tissot does his thing, and 0-1. 0-1, and that definitely affected Lamothe's performance rating because he wasn't very noticeable outside of that, which hurts because Lamothe had some amazing performances in this season. This clearly wasn't one of them. All right. Even a lot of the thing about Campagna was really good. Ruby was amazing today. He was able to hold his own and keep it from becoming an embarrassing thing. Ruby and Campagna are a breath of Ruby returning to regular play and Campagna being a wanderer are really going to help us. We're still going to lose games. We're still going to have bad days, even next season, even if we achieve all our objectives and our goals. But we should be able to stop the forge at home kind of results.
A big area of improvement, and I think those two players are going to be key to your success in the future, and locking them down is going to be very critical to Halifax's success.
Yeah. And the second Pacific game, that I consider an embarrassment because that's where even some of the strong players fell out, like Ruby and him effectively passing it to a Pacific player for 0-2 in that game. So nobody's infallible, but for the most part, Ruby has like one of those games for every 20. Campagna hasn't had that kind of game yet. But so yeah, I think we've with them and occasionally Santos, we have our back line for the season. And that's assuming we don't find anyone even better to fill it in the off. The midfield is probably our biggest strength for the most part. Forge has been able to embarrass us because their midfield is even better. Our midfield
yeah.
You?
No, your midfield has always been a point on every time we're doing a show previewing Halifax. It's always one to watch. You have Jeremy Gagnon-Lapierre, who Atletico Auto fans are very familiar with his Auto Fury days. He is very critical to your success when he is playing in the midfield. He dictates possession and has a very strong tackle. And if you can build a strong midfield around him, and your other key players, I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but your midfield is your strongest point for sure. And it's just other points around the field that are kind of drawing it back. But if you can just keep that midfield and maybe even improve it and just improve on some other aspects, you will be a dangerous team next year.
Absolutely. Our midfield is and also our best player, some of our best players. JGL, Rampersad, Polisi is becoming ever stronger, and he is never shied out of a tackle or challenge of any other kind. He's a great guy. Even Lamothe and Daniels are hit and miss. They probably won't be here next year, but if they are, I wish them well. Bent was JGL was like playing a left back this game, which means that I guess that was part of the lineup decision to have the midfield to add to the midfield folks that probably won't be around. But
yeah, I mean, JGL has played a left back at times with the Fury. It's not his primary position at all, but it's definitely something he's versatile enough to play. But putting him in left back was a little questionable. I guess kind of does fit in for bringing on who might be a send-off.
He was still one of our best players, and considerably. Even I'm not going to say out of position, but in a position you normally don't associate with him. Polisi was amazing today, by the way. He was fighting like hell from minute 1 to minute 90 plus whatever, and he was responsible for the transition to the front wherever he could. And without him, I don't think. Without him, he's another one without him, it would have been an embarrassment. Polisi has really stepped up. Fernandez, our best player, in my opinion, our best player, and it's not even close, wasn't here. I guess I'm pretty sure he's going to be here for Forge Away. That game is going to be the hell, the absolute hell.
You guys win for us. Win. We believe in you.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, also, Bahus. Can you tell me a little something about 0-2 when Bahus stepped up?
Bahus has been trying to get that first career goal all season long. He's come close at some certain types. Bahus has honestly been Atletico Ottawa's anchor in terms of U21 minutes the entire season. He's the one that's been getting us the majority of our minutes. And only 20. He applied for the U20, the U Sports draft. Didn't work out. Went back to college, and then Ottawa signed him directly from college. He was one of the best players, if not the best player in college. And he's been playing a pretty critical role in the midfield, which is pretty interesting that such a young player is there. And well, he was just in the right spot at the right time on that goal. A perfect cross from Acosta just went right over, I think it was Malcolm Shaw's head, landed at Bahus' feet, taps it first time. You can question whether Austrian could or not, I don't know, but I'm very happy for the kid to finally get his first career goal. I talked to him at the end of the game, and he's super stoked to get it.
Yeah, Bent was absolutely handled for that goal, and
100%.
He's better off as a winger. And when he was brought, then I believe he was put in left back and JGL in the mid when Bent was put on. Something like that, and yeah. Bent's a better as a winger. Let's leave it at that. He is, and yeah, he did a lot better earlier on in the season. I guess he had trouble keeping fit in the latter half of it. Mm-hmm. I want to see him next year, but I'm not sure if I will. We'll know in the 6 months to come. And
it's definitely going to be interesting.
And if you see me doing things like picking my keyboard up or reaching out here, it's because my cat is eager to jump around the keyboard and make herself known. She does.
You just know how massive this episode is.
Prim really does. Prim's cute. Yeah. So and Omar helped. Omar helped with her. Garcia technically was there, but I didn't notice him. He was completely invisible, and in the kind of way that really doesn't help him at all.
Garcia's been having a tough season for. I think we're hoping that he'll be able to fill in the boots for when Morelli went down, and even hoping that he'd kind of just recover from that one good season he had, and just bring finishing, but just from the start, he has never taken off, and I'm not quite sure if his future is going to be in Halifax coming after this offseason.
Yeah, me neither. I feel the same way about Marshall. Marshall didn't even show up here. That tells you everything, don't it? I think they're ready to just heck Marshall off. I mean, like... Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a long list of players, unfortunately, who you kind of have to do a little bit of a rebuild during the offseason. But if you can keep your midfield and build around that, keep Sammy Salter, get a new goalkeeper,
and Zach Fernandez,
you could do some damage.
And Zach Fernandez,
you can do some damage. And Zach Fernandez, you can do some damage. But there are too many pieces, to be honest, for Halifax throughout these 4 years. It's just you have so much potential. And just every year, it just seems to be something different. And you really got to start making the playoffs soon, because other than the island bubble, it hasn't been good enough for Halifax. And I think this offseason there has to be some big changes.
You guys have been inspirational. From the absolute bottom of the league last year to where you are now, you could be getting the title. It's quite likely. as we speak, Pacific and Forge are playing their game. I haven't seen anything of it. I've been busy with this. Once we're done here, I'm going to go check the score and see what's what.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happening there. Hoping for a draw. That's all we can hope for the HFXATO fans.
Yeah, and we did in the summer. We did do some decent business. Campania, definitely. Mondway has helped with our usual game plan. And AMLA, I know AMLA has the potential to basically be like a discount Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Somebody you aim the ball at and his dome sends it, and his dome takes it home.
I love that.
I hang with Everton in the Premier League, and Dom, he'd been injured for a while, but Dom,
yes,
that's his modus operandi. He's probably the best header of the ball in the Premier League. AMLA,
he's up there for sure.
Yeah, Mondway is the best stretcher of defenders and pressurer of defenders that I've seen in this team. I'm not going to say he's the best in the league because I'm not so sure about that. But once he opens his account next year, he can become that guy.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of potential. It's just finding the right pieces and getting them to click together, which is easier said than done. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be difficult.
All right, tell me something more about the general game from the Ottawa end and their strategy. I mean, I know that you guys are counterattack FC and you serve that well, but tell me some of the specifics from your end.
Yeah, well, coming into this game, we all knew that, well, we made the playoffs, but we had to do U21 minutes. So we had a feeling that we're going to play at least 3, if not more, U21 players. And to start off in the lineup, we had all 3. We had Owen Antonio, we had Zachary Roy and Zacharia Baus playing. So 3 U21 minutes, and they were doing really well. I feel like in the first half, we were playing a lot of terrace football, just counterattacking. But we limited Halifax to next to no chances in the first half. And we were lucky enough to pick up a set pieces, one of them being Tiso. I was right behind the net watching it. Honestly, Oxner's position, questionable. I'm not really quite sure. He was a little bit too far.
Blame him
but
as much. I don't.
It's hard to blame him. It was a very free kick. I just feel it's a little bit too right. I feel like it's a lot harder to beat him far post from where the ball was than near post.
Right.
And I feel like he could have been a little bit more closer to that end because it was just too fast the ball. Second half came and Halifax more HFXATO. We started sitting back a lot more. We made a couple subs. I noticed that when we did make the subs and took out a couple U21 players out, there was a lack of chemistry. We were kind of, I don't know, when Verhoeven was on, we weren't really playing that well defensively, and we really needed Nathan Ingham to kind of bail us out. But he did. That boost goal gave us we were 2-0, and then that's when we really decided to sit back. And Sammy Salter got a goal off, just some accident. Brian Wright tried to clear the ball, went off Sammy Salter's hand into the net. Ingham couldn't really do anything.
Being able to recover when you're a little off target and when things go a little when the ball goes runaway, that is a good thing to be able to do. And
100%.
I'm proud of Salter for that. For
100%. I was very surprised, that Salter scored a goal that wasn't a penalty. I was very happy it went in, but
you and
after that goal,
7,000 Halifax fans.
After that goal, though, it was squeeze your bum time with you guys pressing and. From my angle, I was right on the patio deck in front of your supporter section. I couldn't see the goal line of the field because a lot of heads in the way. So there are so many times the ball was scrambling in the box, and I had no idea whether the ball was going to go in the net or not. And it was just really scary hours for HFXATO. I hate when we do that because there's so many times where we just lose those.
When the ball goes runaway like that. And pinballs off of 2 people and then off of
literally it's the worst. But we played terrorist football and we came away with the win, which is all that matters. And honestly, I'm surprised because I was fully expecting us to draw, if not lose this game.
Really?
So yeah, I just felt that with 21 minutes, we have to play that, and I don't know, Halifax. I just felt like you guys would want to finish off your homestand with a big win, and you were really wanting to beat Atletico Ottawa. I thought at best we'd probably draw. I was not expecting us to.
We were definitely fighting. We definitely left everything on the pitch.
100%, 100%.
That's not a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, a great goal, Tissot, and Awus on a back, and not got the points we needed.
I think the thing is, a lot of them just, well, their future is a bright one. It's just places other. There are some of them. Their future is bright. It's just bright away from Halifax Wanderers. And I'm not gonna have a go at anyone. I'm not going to be mean about it. And
it's just the nature of the game. Some people, this happens. If you're good enough, you're good enough. If you're not, you're not. And if you're not good enough for a team, you try and find another. The nature of the game.
Yeah. So how'd you like the hospitality of our local folk?
You guys were absolutely phenomenal from the second I stepped foot in the stadium with my girlfriend. I've never been out east before. It was my first time, and the stadium is beautiful. It's natural grass. I love it. And walking in, I met people from the Discord right away. I think Labville, the guy that walks around with all the cool gear and costume, that was awesome.
The Privateers guy.
Yeah, Privateer. It was crazy to see, and just walking, and people are obviously giving looks and stuff because it's an Ottawa fan. Walking by the supporters, I knew they're gonna be triggered because I had the massive sign with my girlfriend, but it was all friendly banter at the end of the day. And a lot of you guys came up to me at halftime. We had some nice chats. You guys bought me so many drinks, even more I can even handle. Me and my girlfriend, but no, it was fantastic meeting everyone I did, and honestly, as much as we beef online, as much as my personality is really toxic online, it's all fun and games at the end of the day. And Halifax, us two fan bases, were really up there in the league, and it is kind of a shame that you guys haven't been as competitive this season, and I really think when our two are competitive and we'll eventually play each other in the playoffs, it's going to be a sight to see in this league. Yeah. But I had a phenomenal time. You guys were absolutely great, and there's not one bad thing I can say about my time in Halifax and at the game.
Carlos Gonzalez was your fairy godmother. He gave y'all ass a wonderful gown, and then this season we turned into a pumpkin.
It is.
You all right? You broke up a little. Okay, I see you now. You're sound. You're good now. Anywho, how many minutes do you have left for U21?
Off the top of my head, I think we have 7 minutes left. Something around there. It's honestly less than a half worth of minutes left. It's 27 or something.
Okay, so that's not going to be a problem. Just
not an issue. We're going to get
off the bench at 60 and you're sound.
I think Baus will start and we'll get it by the halftime.
All right. Also, I remember what I was saying in the Discord was, hey, look at get Bahus over there, provoke the shit out of this guy, get him and turn it into an 11v10 situation, or we got to sub the, not injuries, of course. Injuries always suck, but get him to do something in terrible judgment and have to come off before he gets sent off. One last bit of shithousery from us. I guess not, but it would have been obviously.
Cool. We do have.
Obviously, you'd see differently, but I wouldn't have minded that last little bit of shithousery.
Hey, after last season with Arnaud, I wouldn't blame you guys.
That motherfucker must have I was there last year. That mofo was probably I think he must have moonwalked off the pitch after kicking the quarter flag or something like that. I don't know, but he made a meal of that goal that was the.
He got sent off.
He did get sent off for that.
Yeah.
That was a second yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. Oh, what a call! But yeah,
It wasn't a straight red. It was a second yellow.
it was a second yellow, which was like a debatable second
So
yellow in terms of context of the game. But that's a whole nother loop on can of worms.
All right,
You don't have to open.
moving along. All right, so you're going to be safe in terms of U21 minutes. You got your playoffs and then some. Cargo has basically raised you from the dead. He's done the thing Frank Lampard did with Everton, and then some, because Everton's mid-table right now, and playing and doing well at avoiding conceding goals, not scoring as many, but you lot are either going to be like first or second, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think we've clinched top two, so it's either first place or we're getting second place.
So yeah, you're kind of like Frank. Yeah, Carlos Gonzalez came from Spain to bring the pain, and
I like that.
And he took. I wouldn't mind like an MLS manager on his way out to like come over here and do that to us if he was okay with that. Pamudukai, I've heard, but that seems to be a long shot.
I think it's gonna be.
You have completely broken up now.
All right, how about now?
Your sound now. Proceed.
I'm sound now.
Proceed.
I think that Kai is gonna go back up to the MLS. I don't think he's coming back to the CPL. Well, his move to the MLS Next program always was a stepping stone to keep moving up.
Okay, so
and I'll be really shocked if he comes back.
God probably isn't happening. I think I wrote parody lyrics in Discord for the running up that hill course that said, if I could, I'd make a deal with whoever like one of the MLS sides was, and get him to swap hearts places. I don't even like Kate Bush like at all, but the inspiration struck in terms of parodying that running up that hill song of hers for the thing. And but yeah, I know Hart can land. There are a lot of places Hart can, Stephen, if we decide that it's time for him to move on, he will move on, and he will prosper in like some sort of ambassadorial role for the general sport in this country, or maybe even in Nova Scotia. Again, we'll see. But there are so many things that he can move on from the Wanderers to, and be none the worse for it. Again, he's 100%. One of those guys who I think is a sound fella, and who deserves to land on his feet, even if he's not the one that's going to be the one to take us forward in the future, in my opinion. And if they do decide to keep him, I hope he proves me wrong. I hope if we decide to keep Hart for the rest of his contract, I hope he makes me look like an absolute fool for saying this. I hope to have I hope to look like a complete friggin' mug for saying that next year. I will always take pleasant surprise over vindication. I'd say we've said our piece about the game, about things beyond us, about how our seasons have gone, about we good? Think this is a good jumping off point? I do.
I think this is fun. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
All right. Up those wonderful blues, and
we're massive.
Yeah. Well, this is Wanderlust, and that's Eddie Benhin, and we out.
Peace.
And I'll send the VOD, post the VOD in the usual places and all that, and tag the CapitalCitySG in that, and Twitter, and so on.
Perfect.
And we done.